Hey guys, welcome back to some more reviews. The Explorer of Horror here, the Horror Boy, and welcome to my review of Friday the 13th Part 6, Jason Lives, which came out in 1986, gets a 6.0 on IMDb, and is directed by Tom McLaughlin. Now, Tom McLaughlin would go on to make a couple other movies. I don't think he's directing anymore, I think he's doing something else. Maybe he's directing still, but I don't think he is. But I know he made a couple of movies I'm familiar with. He made They Came from Outer Space, or he was the writer for that. I know says he made The Unsaid, which I haven't seen that. But I know he made One Dark Night, which I heard about. I didn't see it, but I heard about it. But he's made a lot of TV and stuff like that. But yeah, cool guy. From the interviews, seems like he's a really cool guy. Now, at this point in the series, even though I love this movie, I think it's still a great fun time. I think this is when, and I have to agree with John about this too, this is really when the series, because my friend John Grande thinks the same thing, where Part 6 was great, but this really was the beginning of that slope. Because even though I love Zombie Jason, I would say that, I like Human Jason more, because, I don't know, it's a personal preference, I guess. Human Jason to me just seems more intimidating, because Zombie Jason walks, yeah, he has super strength, and yeah, he's a zombie and whatever, but, I don't know, I've just always liked Human Jason. And there is a lot of fun things in this movie. It's just something about Part 6, to me, doesn't feel very, I don't know. It's a different tone. It's a more darker movie with a more rainy atmosphere and more of a darker lighting. It's the beginning of that in the series where really the atmosphere kind of becomes, bland. It's like dull and rainy and I guess gothic is what you could say. I'm just not a fan of that. And also the Jason. I used to say I liked this guy who played Jason, CJ something, but I think his name is CJ Graham. Cool guy, but the Jason, the way he looks, the way he moves, the way he is just slow. It's definitely not one of my favorite Jasons. It's probably like up there with Freddy vs. Jason's Jason. Just, I don't like the way the mask looks and his outfit looks, and then he had these gloves, which I'm like, why do you have gloves? But, I still thought CJ Graham tried to do the best he could. It was just the way that Jason was made in this movie, the zombie Jason. And it doesn't have that, to me, fun teen thing going on. Like, the teens are just very generic in this movie to the point to where it's becoming obvious. Like, literally, the only people I care about in this movie is Tom Matthews playing Tommy Jarvis, which did a good job, Jennifer Cook playing Megan, which is the second lead of the movie, and her dad, Sheriff Garris, David Kagan. Besides those three characters, everybody else, and of course, the sheriff's deputy. He's a pretty cool, fun character. Wherever the red dot goes, you bang. And, even though I have problems with it, it still makes up for it in the positives. Because, it's a very fun movie. It takes itself lightly. It's self-aware. It's a smart horror film, as they say. It has some pretty good effects, some pretty good kills. And I like the ending. I like the what else can I say? I love the trailer. I love the posters. And Zombie Jason is alright, but let's get in the story. So this one is taking place after Part 5, but really it pays no attention to Part 5. So pretty much, Tommy has escaped this mental institution with his friend, and they're going out to the cemetery to Tommy to finally put a rest to this, to finally put an end to this, to kill Jason once and for all. He even says Jason belongs in hell, and I'm gonna see that he gets there. And basically, they go there. They're getting ready to pour gasoline on Jason, but Tommy sticks a metal rod and like stabs Jason a million times. Leaves the rod in there. Lightning strikes it like twice, and then Jason comes back to life. And you have zombie Jason, him, killing that one guy by punching a hole right through his chest and has his heart in his hand. And then from there on, Jason gets up, grabs the mask, the zoom in shots, some pretty good looking shots. Jason in the rain, which is a pretty cool look. And Jason begins killing again, and it's up to Tom Matthews trying to stop him. And I thought that Tom Matthews in this movie did a really good job playing Tommy. It's just not my favorite version of Tommy. Like, I love Part 4's Tommy. I love Part 5's Tommy. Here, I like the character, and Tom Matthews did a great job playing Tommy. It just didn't seem like it was much of a, from Part 4 to 5 to 6, the character really doesn't, in this movie, he doesn't feel the same at all. He's, charismatic, he's very confident, pretty much the badass lead, and that's not what Tommy was before. But Tom Matthews did a great job playing Tommy in this movie. Of course, Tom Matthews from Return of the Living Dead 1 and Part 2 did a great job in both those movies. Does a great job here. Big fan of Tom Matthews. Also in the video game, Friday the 13th, the video game, he's in that as well. But yeah, you have some pretty good looking scenes. I like the scene where Jason rises out of the grave and puts the mask on, and you have some pretty good death scenes where he goes on like this killing spree and takes this steel pole and stabs these people, and one he tosses over his shoulder, the other stabs her right in the head, and you have that American Express card, don't leave home without it, and where it floats in the water or floats away. You have like these paintball people who all three of them get decapitated at once, and the other guy gets cut off screen. One guy gets like a broken bottle into his neck. These people get on a motorcycle, they both get stabbed. Like, there's a lot of double kills and triple kills in this movie. A guy gets broken and bended back in half, the sheriff character does. That guy gets his head squeezed. One girl gets her face like smashed into the RV. One guy gets like a dart in his head. This other guy gets like a combat knife shoved in the side of his head, and the RV wrecks. You have a great shot where Jason gets up out of the fiery RV and like walks off like a badass. That's pretty much it. There's not my really. This movie doesn't really have the best death scenes either. I mean, if I really think about it, it kind of has the weakest ones, like some of the weakest ones, because Part 7 doesn't have good death scenes at all. But that's because of the MPAA, I understand that. But in this movie, I just felt that the death scenes there's not much to them. There wasn't really my favorite one in the movie. They were all just kind of like there. And Tommy gets this plan where he's going to tie this chain to a boulder and tie it around Jason's neck and throw him into the lake and have him beat the bottom of the lake because he can't kill him, so might as well trap him there. And you have that scene where Tommy's on the boat. Good scene where Tommy, puts gasoline in the water and like somehow lights a circle in the fire. I'm like, wouldn't the gasoline kind of like wash into the water? Like it would kind of fade in the water? I guess not, because he's in the boat, puts like a circle of gasoline and it lights a perfect circle around the boat. And it's a good scene where Jason, jumps out of the water, grabs him. It's practical. It's a good stunt where Jason's on fire and Tommy, puts the chain on him and rims the boat up to where, or no, that's later on, but he gets dragged down into the lake with Jason, and you think Tommy's dead until the girl comes out, Megan, and rescues Tommy. But when she's bringing him back, Jason tries to grab her, and she turns this motor on, the boat motor on, and it kind of rims on Jason's face, and you get that iconic look in Part 7 where it broke his his mask and his face. It even breaks his neck in the movie too. You hear like a crack, and then you know, she gets Tommy back on shore. Tommy, you know, wakes up. He's alive. And the movie pretty much ends with Jason in the lake, a shot in his eye. Movie ends with, he's back! The man behind the mask. Which is a great, awesome song by Alice Cooper. So I'll give the movie this. Great soundtrack. Well, great ending song. I'm not a fan of the soundtrack of this movie. Just to me, this and part 7 and part 8, part 9, part 10. Like, part 5 was the last movie that had a pretty decent score. Here, me personally, I'm not a big fan of it. The kills, they're good. They're decent. There's nothing really special about them. There's nothing... Like, if I would have my favorite kill, I'd probably say the triple decapitation. But besides that, there's nothing really to the kills. I didn't like the look of Jason and the way Jason moved, and just that Jason was not one of my favorites. I don't like the gothic look. I just really don't. I don't like the darkness to it and the way the movie looks, because part 7 and part 8 would kind of copy that look, and I'm just not a fan of it. But it does have blood in it. It does have some nudity. It is fun, very fun. It is smart. It is self-aware. It has some great characters, like, well, at least some good leads, you know, Tommy, Megan, and the sheriff. It has some funny moments where Jason throws a guy into a tree, and when the guy moves, it's a happy face in the tree. You know, this guy who finds Jason's grave pretty much doesn't want to get in trouble, so he reburies it and pretty much makes Tommy look like he's crazy. I thought Tommy and Megan were good characters. You know, Jennifer Cook and Tom Matthews have some great chemistry in that, in those scenes. It's a fun movie. I can have a lot of fun with the movie. I actually really do enjoy it still. But for me, this is when we start shifting to the stuff that really I'm not a big fan of. Like, the gothic atmosphere, the zombie Jason, the look, the soundtracks, just in my opinion, this is when the series kind of got, you know, to the point to where it started going downhill with every sequel. So, but like I said, still a decent story. I like the story of Jason coming back as a zombie, and even though I'm not a fan of the zombie, like, as much as the original, like, human Jason, I still like the zombie Jason. You know, so like, that was pretty cool. I know when this movie came out, it was a really big hit, and it really, when Jason came out of the grave, people were cheering. This is when Jason kind of got recognized as that really important, you know, where, in this movie especially, part 6, I think he became kind of that self-aware icon, because he's very strong in the movie. You know, he punches holes through people, he crushes people's skulls, he bends people in half, make him very strong in the movie. He's a presence in the movie, he's always there. Like in previous movies, it was a lot of POV shots, but in this movie, it's more of Jason in the main frame, you know. This movie stars Jason, pretty much, so I'm trying to say. And you had the cool James Bond opening. You had that awesome poster, which I'm going to be using for the thumbnail of this video, where it's a zombie parody. Lucio Fulci's zombie poster. So even though part 6 is not one of my particular favorites, I still really enjoy the movie. I still love it. I think it's still a great sequel. But this is the beginning of the downfall for me. This is when things start going downhill. Because after this movie, there's not really a Jason movie that I absolutely love to death. So we'll get to those movies later. But yeah, quick, simple review of Friday the 13th Part 6, Jason Lives. But yeah, I think it's pretty good. I still love the movie. Even though it has problems, I still watch it. I still think it's a great movie. I enjoy it. But anyways, guys, let me know your guys' thoughts on Part 6, Jason Lives. Hope you guys enjoyed the review. Let me know if you guys enjoyed the review or the movie. Let me know in the comments below. But anyways, guys, thanks for watching my review on Friday the 13th Part 6, Jason Lives. Hope you guys enjoyed the review. I'll see you guys later. Explorer of Horror is out.